everybody and welcome back. I am Mr. JP and the game is Out of War. First off, a big thank you to all the people who are subscribing and liking my videos. Nice to know you're all out there and impressive considering I haven't been up to much. So first off, a lot of people have been saying about what's going on with the game. Well, here's a new map. And we'll get to why I've been a bit quiet in a minute. But so I started this little mine at the start of May, but due to testing the game, I have been a little busy, so I haven't got on with much. So I finally bought my head out of the development version into the mainstream version, did some digging, decided to do some filming, so this is what you're all going to see today. And to fill you in on where I've been, the dev invited me to test his version, which is non-disclosure. I can't film in it. That's the way it is. So I can't really say much about what's going on in that, but I can tell you there are new vehicles coming because that's already out in the open, and there will be some improvements to the game coming in the next update. It's going to be interesting, but this map and the new metaphor of the game means there is a certain different playing method to it. The storage boxes here mean that, as a general rule, you can just set up your machinery anywhere. Building buildings at the moment, really not that necessary. So I've actually collected up a bit of coal here, so we'll stick that in the sale box. Go over to the other one here. And this is where I've really been collecting the stuff. What's dirt? Some gold, rubies, diamonds, and jade. Because I've been running mainly pay dirt, and the key to getting cash out of pay dirt is the wash plant. It's a new piece of the equipment with the latest update that's been put in. We've had a lot of fun playing with this stuff. I'm hoping for more production equipment and greater variety at some point soon. So this component here with these arms and cables on it is the wash plant. As you can see, it's much the same as a downhill conveyor. It does have a water animation that runs that we'll probably see later on. And in front of it, on this one, is the fractioner. I'm going to have to look it up. Fraction something, I'm sure of it. The fractioner. There we go. It was something like that. And this device is a little bit finicky. You have to run it on this crusher here, which is the jaw crusher, which turns the blasted stone into crushed stuff that this can deal with. And then it will make, in the same way as the wash plant, the nice stuff. So we'll get to some of that in a minute. This is a standard sorting drum. I'm not using the trommel. I haven't found a use for it yet. I will do. The new fuel tanks, you can place them anywhere, so I've got one down here, got a roller down here. All this white stuff you see is blasted stone. We've got some coal in the middle there. Made a bit of a mistake blasting earlier. Don't blast coal, it just turns into soil. So yeah, you can now tab between vehicles, which is nice and handy. And I've been slowly mining my way sort of down in this little cut over here. And as you can see, it is sort of, there's a drop hopper there, that hopper's attached to it. I'm going to put in another one in a minute to show you how it's done, but we'll get stuck in for a sec, just to do some digging. Oh, I miss the old fill planes. At the same time, I understand why we've gone with the walls. I do get it. I think to get the dumper truck running again, we might see a return of the fill planes. Purely for processor spec, you can't have like a 40-ton dump truck, which is 5 bucketfuls from the loader with all these balls sat in it. It needs to remerge them into something simpler. Due to the new way the game is working, I don't really think the dumper's got much of a place. There are now landscaping tools that allow you to sort of disappear dirt, which is very handy for installing and cleaning hoppers. However, kind of cheating. The whole point of this is to do it with machines. So to install these hoppers, I come in with the excavator and I dig a trench from one point to the other, and then put the hopper in, and then I can just dig alongside the hopper with the excavator and just move the conveyor forward, as it were. And you can dig quite a long way into the site like that. It's a relatively easy way to do business. So yeah, digging with the loader requires a slightly new metaphor. I've seen a lot of people saying that they want to see full buckets and that kind of thing. So I do like these jettisoning machines now. I think they're great. They do throw stuff around quite a lot. And when they do so, it's best to have them in an enclosure like that one is, so it can't miss. It's the trick. So yeah, firstly, make sure your wheels are on the ground. Secondly, keep the bucket kind of level. And you'll just slowly drive forward, cutting in. And if you see the bucket start to slide forward like that without generating balls, stop. Flick your bucket back and just come out of the hole a little. Let everything reform, tilt your bucket forward again, drive in and lift, there we go. That is how you get a full bucket. But it is wasteful. You saw how it was cutting through there, it was destroying everything. But it does allow you to get through material fairly quickly, which is useful, very useful. But now we've got this overhang, and to get rid of overhangs, go in with your bucket level, but the top of the bucket level with where you want to sort of destroy the overhang, and it just turns into balls and ends up in your bucket like that. It's so easy, it's unreal. So strip mining is the way forward, with steps, about the height of the loader, maybe a little taller. It equates to about 3 blocks or so. You could probably get away with 4. A little bit of work with the dozer up on the lip maybe. Dozer is very wasteful on material. I'm not sure it's the best thing for loading hoppers anymore. I have tried it, it does work, and it may well get used again to take the top off of this. Bit unsure which way to go with it, but I'm thinking of just spreading this cut out sideways either way along this ridge line. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, this is digging with the loader. It's a lot of fun, in my personal opinion. It seems to be where I've been concentrating my spec, as it were. Been communicating with some other creators of videos and streaming content on YouTube. I don't know what they stream on, but yeah, big shout out to all the guys who are in the NMC Discord. I'll be on there a bit later on, probably doing a bit of streaming in the voice chat rooms, so if anyone wants to chat to me there, and they've caught this video in time, but I'm planning to be more available in there, so I also have my own Discord if you want to become a member, and any kind of shout out to me in there like, hey JP, are you about, do you want to stream? And if I can, I will, and I'm normally about at the moment, so yeah, see if we can get this set up, because I know there's a fair lack of video creators out there. Someone put a shout out for a video creator and they only got 1 name suggestion, so I think I'm going to be suggestion number 2. That's the way to go forward with this. So yeah, the loader just gently runs forward like this, with it fairly level. Keep the bucket rising all the time so that your wheels don't come off the deck. Come back out, let it all settle down, and then go in again. And whammo, 1 really full bucket. So it is possible to overcharge these loaders by quite a significant amount. I've stopped worrying about what I spill, I really have. The digging is now intuitive enough that you can smooth things out without using the roller. I haven't actually used the roller on this deck up here at all yet. Just keep going forward like this with the loader. It just, if you do it slow, it just takes the top off of everything in a nice level layer. If you find your front wheels coming off the deck, just lift the front end slightly. And it's just so easy. Full bucket full. So yeah, this is loader action. this is pretty much the gameplay, gonna be honest. Like, digging is the thing. Once you get down into the stonework and blasting, you get a bit of fun laying explosives, using the bulldozer to tidy up. Excavator comes into it. Haven't really found a use for the dumper truck, as I say. Maybe if I was building roads or something with waste dirt, maybe that would do the job. And just trying to think what else there is to do. There's a lot of people building pretty buildings out there. I've seen a few photos in Discord. Congrats to you all, like, that's pretty amazing. Oh yeah, big shout out, as I say, to all my fellow YouTube creators and the guys who've been helping Christian out, the developer of the game. He's doing an amazing job. A lot of people on Steam are a bit hypercritical, but considering the age of the game, not doing bad at all. And I know that there's better things coming, guys, so be patient, you know. But definitely one to watch. This game is one to have in your collection because currently, A, it's cheap. As far as I'm aware, I haven't checked the price on Steam recently actually, but it was cheap for me. This is a developer who valued his previous customers, because this game was actually developed from another called Bergsbrook. You can't get Bergsbrook anymore, but I played it for, I don't know, maybe 0.7 of an hour, maybe a couple of hours, can't remember. And I liked it. It was very rough and ropey when I played it, but its promise was multiplayer, and that never happened due to a problem that wasn't Christian's fault. So he gave us all Out of All for free if we bought Bergsbrook, so yeah, it's good. You don't see that very often, so that's to be remembered when you're thinking about the development of the game. It's all being done by him. It is challenging, I should think. It may change in the future, who knows. But currently I like the way it is. I think it's good. It brings personal touch to the Discord and everything when the game's sole creator is commenting and answering questions and stuff is absolutely brilliant. Commitment you don't see from every games developer. Yeah, so let's tidy this bit up and then I'll move on to something else that I was going to show you in this video. So yeah, this new map is pretty huge, and it's got this evidence of previous mining where it's all dug down to a gravelly rocky layer, and I'm not sure, because the next layer down will be the one that answers the question, but I don't think that gravel extends into the hills at that depth or gets higher, because at the back of this I'd have thought I'd be into the gravel layer if it followed the terrain. So I don't think it follows the contours. I'm hoping it's not just in those valleys and something to scrape up as a huge strip mine. But if it is, say lovey, we'll get to it. Oh yeah, what was I? Yeah, that was something that has been mentioned by a few people in Discord, and I thought, yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw it on Steam. Is the construction thing. They're having problems laying down the hoppers, which I find a bit interesting, because personally I find the new construction layout very nice, and the man responsible for that work, he knows who he is, has done a very nice job, in my opinion. Other people have got their problems with it, but I think it's just because they have a problem changing the way they think about these things, rather than... It's a bit like trying to adapt the game to them rather than adapting to the game, which is a bit pointless. But, yeah, some people say I'm a bit hard on people. So, let's part that up. Recycle that panel there, because I think that's the one we want to do this on. And then I need some components. They're going to be useful. They're going to be useful. That's all you need is these four. So, how do I want this to be? Yeah, you can't reach very far when laying blocks downwards, by the way. That's why I'm having a bit of a struggle here. But trust me, the new way is a lot more intuitive. You just look at where the node is that you want to build on the face. So it's node and face related. Build an extra one there. Now, you may not have seen what I did there, but I counted 4 blocks along, and then I placed 1 block up. And now I'm going to put the hopper on that 1 block up, because the hopper is built so that as you look at the end that the ore comes out of, that's the front of the model. And it's centered on the back of the model as the placement block. So just build a piece of scaffolding like I just did, and click. Et voila, one perfectly placed hopper. Take a conveyor chute, and I think this is where we see one of the bugs that's still present in the game. Yeah, so 2 items in your bar, 1 missing. So it happens on the conveyor chute. I must remember to write that one down. Now I'm going to recycle this hopper that I put in down here because I don't want it there. And I am going to use instead, yeah, that's the right direction, conveyor right. And you can hold down shift to split the piles, so that gets rid of any chance of the doubled up item deleting. So conveyor right's the correct way around. That goes in there. I'm going to quickly fill. Laying these floors is as simple as that. You just walk sideways looking at the edge of the tile that you want it to lay on and click, click, click. Not difficult at all. Recycling floors, if you can get down so you can see along them, you can recycle really long lines like I just did there, by just looking along them in line with the edge of the tile, and they just disappear really quickly. Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, take the conveyor straight. See, it's a straight conveyor. I could make a joke there, but I'm not going to, because I know there's sensitive people out there. You'd also probably have to be British to get it at the moment. So yeah, I won't bother with that. I'm actually going to exercise a bit of, it's not political correctness, let's call it sensitivity to the situation. And moving swiftly on, so I've got to here, I lay in the hopper where I want it, I only to find that half of it's blocked by material, which is kind of annoying. So that's what this terraform down tool is very useful for, and it's the one place you'll ever see me use it is for this task. Could come in with an excavator and finish it off the old fashioned way, but for video purposes I'm feeling shortcutty. Right, recycle this side. Whee! A little bit of too close for comfort on that one there. Yeah, we'll go the whole hog. I was going to only half do it, but I'll do it properly. Just this one time, and then yeah, it's probably the way to do it, I think. Right. By laying that block on the side of the conveyor rather than building these off the side of the hopper, because when you build them on the side of the hopper, oh no, this one's actually lined up correctly for some reason. Sometimes you get a lip that sticks up for some reason. Don't know why. Need to look into it really. Gonna be honest, early access to some kind of private copy isn't all it sounds like it's cracked up to be. I spent 3 days knocking over trees to isolate a problem. To give you an idea of the situation, that's the kind of testing we're doing. It's not all cool machines. So before you think, oh, these people who are testing it have screwed up. No, we haven't screwed up. We just haven't found it yet. And certain things are more of a priority with the developer than others. He knows what he's doing. He has a plan. That much is obvious. And I'm going to let him sort of stick to it without too much involvement as a tester. When he asks for data, like, can you crash it? We'll be like, yeah, and crash it. When he doesn't ask for data, I kind of leave him alone. If that makes any kind of sense. Yeah, I'm going to have to recycle it more. Okay. It will do. There's a few different ways of getting around problems in this, and where you can put scaffolding to build your blocks like I just did. I'm hoping people are learning by watching, because I'm really, really bad at explaining. As I found out yesterday, I was playing another game, and it got hectic, and I was shooting lots of targets. And when I'm shooting targets, I don't really talk much, which shows the different kind of loading that these different games have. So yeah, I've just filled in the floor over the top of that. Here comes the new autosave feature, which is very nice. Very well timed as well, since I've just finished laying all that out. There is a bit of lag at the moment on the autosave, but with the countdown I don't mind. However, it is a nervous moment for me, because during the testing phase, that was the countdown to crash. So yeah, doing beta testing has actually been a dream of mine for a long time as a child, sort of thing, in a, oh, wouldn't that be cool kind of way. It's not exactly what you think it would be. Kind of enjoying it though. So yeah, all in all, worthwhile experience. So I've cleaned up that hopper, that's all tidied up. Just go over here. And the trick to moving large amounts of material, by the way, all of that quick little hopper build was for, just so that you can dig and dump like this. So yeah, this is what it's all about at the moment. And by setting up these hoppers and those little throw out chutes, you can pretty much build a mine with as many faces and places to mine as you want. The world is your oyster, really. So yeah. So, having had a quick dig there, got some of that out. Currently, there will only be coal on the fractioneer side, or fractioner, rather. However, over here I have some stuff which I prepped earlier. Going iron up to that one. So, I'm just going to take a chunk out from over here. And the white stuff is diggable, but once you hit the pink, stuff gets tough. So take what I've got and I'll run with it. And the joy of these systems is you can literally just drop anywhere. They all go into the same place. So no matter which way you turn, because you're not even thinking about it because you're on autopilot, because you've dug a lot of bucketfuls now, there's always a hopper. And that is beautiful. You know, that's a wonderful thing. It means that your cycles per minute are high. And if you've got cycles per minute high, doesn't matter if you're coming out with half bucketfuls. if you're doing 3 of them to the time it takes someone to do one of the big full ones, you're winning. Because I did a little bit of practice streaming with a friend of mine in my Discord. Big shout out to him, he knows who he is. And he gave me some feedback on what I was doing and said that the other major streamer involved in the game isn't shifting the kind of material quantities that I am per minute. Which, I'm going to be honest, that was quite ego boost. That was a big ego boost. Just to fill people in who are just joining the channel or are new to hearing Mr. JP talk, my life fell apart. I don't get out much. So the socialising I do tends to be on Discord and out of Awe and playing computer games. So yeah, this is pretty much it for my action quotient. And I used to be an adrenaline junkie, so I'm a little bit lost. So yeah, I'll survive. I'll get there. I'll get there. Like we're not in dire straits territory yet. I would say I've been in worse places, but I haven't. However, I know there are worse places in the world, if that makes sense. You know, could be trying to get into my own country on a boat, which, before anyone goes off at me, I know something that you probably don't. I've sailed in the English Channel in a small boat, and I can tell you this much: there's a lot of oil tankers and cargo ships and other crazy merchant vessels that weigh multi-million tons, and they take about 3 to 5 miles to stop if you're lucky. That's if they're going to stop, which most of them don't, because stopping involves losing profit or losing their slot at the unloading terminal, whichever. So to take a small boat across there with no radar, no radio, no flares or nothing is suicide. It's one of the busiest waterways in the world. So yeah, I blame the French. Like, if I'm going to have a go at anyone over the immigrant thing, it'll be the French, because like all the immigrants are leaving their coastline. They shouldn't be allowing it. It's dangerous. Those boats are not seaworthy for that many passengers who are paying. It's time to, you know, police these criminals who are running it. Rant over. So anyhow, back to Out of Awe. Yeah. There's a lot more going in the UK that's got my blood up, by the way. That one was a minor one. As you can see, there's plenty left to dig out of this platform, so perhaps I should move my machinery somewhere else and have a little look-see. Perhaps even buy some more machinery, because like I've been using this 510 for ages. But it's addictive, and I love the way it looks. It's got the... I don't know if anyone watching this played some of the older farm sims, but there was a Russian tractor in one of the early ones, and it's got that look. Just all these square edges. I know that everyone's down on Russia as well at the moment, but I kind of blame the leadership for that, not the people, you know what I'm saying? I saw there was stuff going on with a tough crowd at the tennis and stuff, and bad feeling between, well, it's not bad feeling between the sportsmen and women, it's just that they refuse to shake their hands in public unless they're under a neutral flag or something. I don't get it. I really don't. But I don't get everything, a lot of things that are going on at the moment. There's just no logic. Just no logic. Bit like how I dig it in here. I've just built this hopper and I'm digging a little bit further away from it than I necessarily need to, but I want to come in at the overhang from behind, so and I'm taking out the coal. Something you can do if you want full buckets is to take one half and then the other, so that it sort of fills up the empty side of the bucket. But anything you knock down, you see how I'm spilling there? If you want to keep it back up, because if you get too close to it, it will vanish and will not form ground. It's like a dead zone around the vehicles, which stops them bouncing around and being thrown in the air when the landscape forms under them. It's there deliberately. A bit like how I think that those little leaks dirt is there deliberately. But who can say? There's a few things in the game at the moment that have been deliberately left in to allow fast mining and that kind of thing for test purposes that won't be there in, shall we call it, a competitive version of the game. Likewise, currently all the prices you get and everything are sort of, for the ores and everything, I think are kind of placeholders. I'm hoping that it would be kind of cool if they linked the prices of ores in the game to real world prices, so if there was a major change in the market or something, it would be reflected in game. That'd be kind of cool. What would be better is if the totals that everyone was mining were uploaded to a server, so that the stuff that everyone's mining the most of, the price goes down, and what they haven't got much of, the price goes up, kind of thing. So if no one mines coal, coal gets really expensive in the sort of next month as a thing to dig. Try and encourage people to different things. I don't know. There's a few ideas I have. There will be discussions, I should think, in future about that kind of thing. Currently it's getting the game working, it's a priority. So if you're expecting gameplay improvements or missions or stuff like that, I think you might be waiting a little while. The dev's in other territory would be the best way of describing that situation. The dev is definitely in other territory. So yeah, okay. So let's just keep digging. Let's see how much I can dig. We're at 32 minutes. Let's take this video to 45 on the digging, and then I'll do another one on other things later on. Because I want to get this uploaded, and then I'm going to do some streaming, and I want to eat some food, and I've got some chores to do. So yeah. Those chores might not necessarily be housework. I'm trying to play like 4 computer games at once, and I'm finding the load a little difficult. I don't understand how some of the other streamers are doing it, but there we go. Also need to download the other copy of Out of Ore and switch back to it and do some assessment work on some of the stuff the dev is working on, which will be for the next update, I should think. So I should really hurry up, because the speed he comes out with them is unreal. Mind you, I think an issue has been found that might... well, we'll see. It might not be on the date that... I mean, there are no dates for updates, but it might not be on the date that they've thought it was going to be after something that cropped up the other day. And that's software development. Like, if you want to know about software development, watch an early access game develop. I've followed a few of them. Out of Ore is probably doing better than most, in my opinion, for what is at the end of the day still it's still in its first year, probably first 8 months. So for an 8-month-old game, it's doing really well. You compare it to bigger name games. They're still early access, really. They haven't even really got their stable alphas yet sorted out, and they've been going 10 years. So realistically, you have to look at these things comparatively. I know another game that's been going for about 1 year and 8 months, so it's got a year's head start on Out of Ore, and the actual gameplay mechanic in that game hasn't really changed. There's been a few new vehicles added, but no new maps, and bearing in mind that we're talking about a railroad simulator, no new maps is a bit troublesome for a game that's 18 months old, especially with limited gameplay in the current map build. It's very restrictive. There's only a certain amount of routes that are sensible for railways that you can put through there. So yeah, when you compare Out of Ore to other games like that have been running longer, have had bigger development teams working on them, it puts things into perspective, I think. Yeah, it puts things into perspective just on how long software writing and testing can take. Because when you test software, sometimes it's a matter of doing just the same thing again and again and again, and keep logging the crash reports until you find the common denominator, and then you can hit it. It's interesting, as I say. I come from a technical background. I've worked in manufacturing, I've worked in technical fields, and I've worked in using technology in ways that it wasn't originally designed for, which was always fun. So yeah, I've done lots of stuff like that, but I've never really worked with software, and this is my first foray into how it's built and everything, and I'm learning much. Funny how a lot of the mechanical engineering testing regimes and what they do with software are kind of similar. It's almost tested to destruction, but in the case of software you go back to a backup, whereas in hardware testing it tends to be that you need new hardware. There were some good days. The day when you get the latest piece of equipment that a company's building and they're just like, right, can you take us out into the car park and break it? Like, yeah, sure. Do you want us to film it? Yeah. Okay. How do you want us to break it? Oh, impact. Drop it. Okay. So we go out and we take, 4 or 5 of the brand new product and we throw them at the floor in different ways and see how they break. Improvements were then instigated. Yeah, those were the old days as well. That was like 2000, 20 years ago. Things have changed and things haven't changed. It was only realised how old the game I was playing yesterday is when I did the video for YouTube and put the name of the game into it. And there it was, 2013. Ooh, I'm playing some old games. But it's still good, so yeah. Crikey. This game does eat time just from a gameplay perspective. I think I've got 700 hours or more in the game now, so it yeah, you can lose a lot of time here, and I have. To be fair though, some of it could qualify. I mean, I'm volunteering for the testing, by the way. It's not like a real job or anything. But considering the amount of time it can take and has taken, you can see why they get paid the way they do. If I was being paid, I'd have worked a lot harder. Gotta be honest. That's just the way life is. My government would make it easier to go self-employed to work for people, I might have a job already. But there we go. My government have got this stupid rule that if you're self-employed and working for one person, they have to employ you. Which is kind of awkward if it's like a small company, But there we go. I hate governments. Funny thing is, governments are always like, you shouldn't steal stuff. Like, you're always getting in trouble for stealing, rah, but isn't taxation just the same thing? Don't steal, the government hates competition. so does... No, I better not say that. No, don't say any of that. Sorry, just realised I better stay off that subject. I know mine's an adult channel and I could discuss it, but I don't want to get in trouble with a certain country's government that has a tendency of banning people from their platforms. Not that it matters, because I don't use those platforms, and to be honest, 20 years ago I refused a job offer from said company, country, to go and work for one of their companies and train their engineers to do a job that I knew how to do. I chose not to accept this country's offer. Not because I'm massive and I'd have been going to a country of very short people, but more for the fact that I kind of classed it as treason. You're giving technology to the enemy. You're teaching them how to do something that you know how to do, which means that they'll be able to do it and they won't pay you to do it anymore. Base level. Call it selfish, call it what you will, but it's the reason that the UK has no industry anymore. It's because we exported it all and taught them how to do it, guys. So if you want to blame anyone for the reason there's no jobs in the UK in manufacturing, that's why. And economic reasons. Everybody likes doing things cheaper, and if it's cheaper to do it abroad, it gets done abroad. However, it doesn't necessarily get done as well abroad. So I can see British products of quality making a comeback. We might not see the volume that we did in former times, but to be quite honest, considering the pollution that goes with that volume, I'm quite happy not to. I like my countryside unpolluted. I'd really like it if someone would tell the Russians to stop screwing with nuclear power plants out in Ukraine. Like, my country still hasn't recovered from the fallout from the last time. I'm looking at you, Chernobyl. Yeah, I'm not going to go off down that route, but I'm old enough to remember it. End of. That one's pretty unique. There are those who remember it, and there are those who don't. And you had to be there. You really had to be there, because a lot of it isn't in the internet. Cold War was a funny time. One of the most peaceful times of history, in some ways. One of the most dangerous times of history, in some ways. And gosh, would I give that... I'd give quite a lot to get that stability back. Now it's kind of weird, because in infant school there were aircraft recognition panels on the walls showing us pictures of American and Russian bombers so that we knew the difference. We were also taught duck and cover and a few other things, like how to survive the initial effects of an explosion of a nuclear weapon at, a reasonable distance, such as putting yourself under the table so that when the building comes down around your ears, it doesn't completely nail you straight away, and stuff like that. Kind of a weird upbringing. Not everyone my age remembers those bits either. Guess it depends on what kind of child you were, or whether you paid attention to what was pinned on the wall by the door of the classroom you were in at head height for the teachers, whichever way you looked at it. I always had more of an interest in that kind of thing than perhaps other kids my age. But hey, I don't really want to go back to it other than one thing. I think it would be cool to dig my own bunker. It's probably the only bit of the Second World War that looked really fun, was digging your Anderson shelter. I've got a thing for bunkers, okay? Leave me alone. I like digging. That's why I'm playing Out of War. Cool, and I managed to bring Cold War back round to Out of War really smoothly there. Nice. Mark that up. Yeah, anyone who thinks the Cold War was a bad thing, who rides in a jet aircraft today, you're riding in technology that was developed to build bombers. If it wasn't for building bombers during the Second World War, you wouldn't have commercial transit today. And if it wasn't for the Cold War and a need for cheap bombers, Boeing wouldn't have got all those contracts, we wouldn't have cheap transport aircraft, and your airfare to wherever would be a lot more expensive. So yeah, bear that one in mind. Every time you buy a seat on an aircraft that's made by Boeing, you are funding the American military-industrial complex. I'll leave that one with you. So yeah, anyhow. In sort of a conclusion, because we're coming up onto that 45-minute sort of window that I was thinking was probably a reasonable length, I'm liking the way the game's playing, I'm liking the way that things are going. Certain crashes, like the tree crash, still sometimes rears its ugly head. There's a problem with the weather apparently, but I'm running the game with it turned off, so... Gonna be honest, it's rainy for 8 months of the year in my country, in the UK, so I tend to play my computer games with the sunshine turned on. Just the way things are. That's it. But it does mean I can like dig 24/7 here, so that's kind of cool. The joy of having hoppers quite close to where you're digging, spillage goes in, which is also a useful trait. But you can see what I mean about these turnaround times. Ooh, getting some rather gravelly rubble in that one. Interesting. Maybe I am just skimming the top of the rock layer. Who knows? We'll find out once I get to the bottom of this platform, which the back of it's getting closer. It'll be definitely excavator time to extend this hopper any further. But the idea is to extend these hoppers left and right and just run along the hill and cut back into it like I have here. Hopefully I'll be able to use the bulldozer the cliff tops into a hopper run and get some real big volumes going. We'll see how that goes. maybe I'll be able to run the grader along the edge, just slowly skim it all in. That'd be kind of a new novel method that I haven't used. It will depend on whether the grader works. I haven't tried it yet. Need to get more excavator action down. I need to try and use the excavator instead of the explosives for busting through that gravelly stuff, because otherwise I'm going to destroy all the coal that's in it. So that would be an interesting bit of video work. I haven't done any major ripping with an excavator. Haven't really done that much with the dozer either. Just that little area over there was ripped with the dozer. You can see bits that it's missed, where it might be where I skimmed with the blade and pushed the rubble into the middle there. Now what you'll find with running the wash plant is that the pay dirt is divided into two things: rich stuff and dirt. So you will produce a lot of dirt out of this. I've seen some other people saying in the Discord that they weren't particularly happy with the price or the gravel. They didn't mind the ratio it was coming out of, but it was the price. Which is fine. I get what you're saying when a quarter of the profit that you make came from the rich stuff and the rest of it's gravel. I can see your point. But what you're talking about is difficulty and grind, which perhaps may be a gameplay thing. So a little bit premature to start asking for fiscal balances when we don't have a financial system built into the game. But second off, there's a local quarry near me that makes all its money on sand. Like they don't even go as far, like they do gravel as well, but their wash plant's really basic, and they just ship out sand and rough gravel to people, and they make money at it. They only use a loader 2 days or 3 days a week in the actual place, as far as I'm aware. The rest of the time it's done with excavators and bulldozers. So yeah, making money purely off of the gravel, I don't see why not. I genuinely don't have a problem with that one. There's also volume involved. He didn't say how much gravel he dug, because there's good gravel and there's bad gravel for stuff in it. And I think in this the new geology of this map, I think things have got different values. There's pinkier areas like the bit that I'm cutting into at the moment, which are either graphic artifacts, or they're where something, a resource that isn't programmed in, is going to be popping up. There's another pink bit in this bit here. What is apparently making a difference to what I find is the actual colour and texture. You can see that there's sort of a reddish texture to it at times, and some of it's white. This area's all fairly mixed in because it's been dug over once. But yeah, what I have found is it does depend where you're digging as to what you find. Like lithium's only going to be found in resource locations like this coal or that ring over there in the middle. And in those locations you're going to get different resources in different amounts. There are places where the topsoil looks sort of a different colour. Those places underneath appear to have better resources. They show where stuff is in the pay dirt. They may actually show where stuff is in the stone when I get there. Haven't got down to that yet, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to prove fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I do like new games because you never know what kind of Easter egg developer's going to hide you. There's been some crazy stuff. I just proved something to myself that I've been theorising, that a cut-off fossil will just disappear without dropping anything. I was right. That's kind of handy, because that means that getting rid of overhangs you don't want is going to be pretty easy. Yes, very easy. So I'll just do a couple more bucketfuls and then go and have a quick look at what we've collected up in this sort of hour or so of gameplay. I think there's a minute or so at the front of the video. I might actually have to do some editing where I had to set up my microphone. For some reason the shortcut keys of the Xbox game bar don't work in the game. I don't know why. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Probably a keyboard overlay thing or something. Maybe I should get some better software for capturing in this streaming malarkey. If anyone's got a suggestion for a good software for to use to link to the YouTube streaming setup, please let me know. Because I had to go at setting that up the other day and had a few problems. I'll have another go at some point, but it wasn't as self-explanatory as the video on YouTube made it look. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. I'm not a software guru or a modern tech junkie. Media tech isn't really my thing. In fact, most of my skills involve breaking something. Unless it was fitting carpets, which I was rather good at and I rather enjoyed. But there we go. Game over there. Yeah, it scared me that time. I thought it actually locked up. So, yeah, there's balls pouring out down there, which is kind of cool. Park this machine sensibly. Yeah. So yeah, stuff comes down there through this sorting drum. Out the top comes rocky stuff, out the bottom comes powder. Powder being dirt and pay dirt. Goes into the wash plant here, as you can see, with its nice effect, and rocky stuff's going through the crusher there, but the effect on the crusher is very limited to see. It's now stopped. So, yeah. Right, see what we've earned. So, about 94k in the wash plant. Oh, that's worth 150k for 5k. Added to it 152 of gravel for $1,000. Yeah. Not bad totalising at all for an hour's gameplay at 250,000. And as you can see, we're not really digging into rich stuff. This is what I mean by different textured bit. That is, I believe, some rich stuff. And then up here, as you can see, you've got these different textures in the surface soil. Might just be textures, but I think it indicates there's stuff under there, or richer spots in the pay dirt, or even in the rock strata. So we'll see what this geology update has. But my initial theory that by cutting into this I'd find stonework has been proved false. You see what I mean about this bit's light here, this bit's dark here. So definitely something going on there. And then this is where I've done blasting. There may be rich stuff under here, I'm not sure. But under this middle part is definitely rich stuff. And someone said they wanted to see a big strip mine, so I might start doing a big strip mine thing through here. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope this update to Out of Ore progress and a bit of an explanation to what I've been up to and why I've been so quiet is useful to you. I will be doing more videos now that the initial test phase for Out of Ore is sort of out of the way. It's going to be fun. I can't wait for some of the new machinery that's coming out. There's going to be some mining equipment, there's going to be some big mining for big open cast mines like the strip mine. and a few other bits and pieces. So it's going to be pretty choice in the coming months, in my opinion. There's going to be some pretty good stuff running around, and I can't name another mining game better than this for what's being done with machines and that kind of thing. Obviously, you've got various games out there that offer mining, but they combine it with different things. Some of them offer it with a survival environment. Some of them offer it in third person, and you control guys who go into the mine. Some of them are very cutesy, like I won't say the title. But yeah, as far as things are going with this game, there's definitely some nice realistic sort of things going on. I'm a bit disappointed that they changed the explosives. They no longer yeah, you guys wouldn't know about that. Don't worry, forget what I just said. Yeah, this is the problem with this whole thing that we're doing, is I now have to watch what I say. I've got secrets again. That hasn't happened in 20 years, which is kind of ironic. And this time I'm actually not getting paid, and I was getting paid last time, so that needs to change. I need to change that up. Feel free to like and subscribe, guys, because once I get enough subscribers, YouTube will start paying me, and that's sort of like no harm, no foul. That would be kind of cool. It really would be. But for all you miners who are playing the game or want to play the game, it's still good. I'm enjoying it a lot. Vehicle handling's nice. So thank you all for joining me, listening to me babble for the last hour and dig some holes. It is getting to be quite a tall hole, to be honest. It is getting there. So yeah, quite happy about that. I'm going to be doing more playing with this, as I say, doing some more videos, some more in-depth on some of the machinery and methods. So until I do, keep yourself safe, everybody. Enjoy the beautiful weather that we're having if you're in the UK. But whatever you're doing, stay safe, and good luck in your mine. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.